like to call the Macomb City Council Committee of the Whole to order, please, if the clerk would call the roll.
Justin Shu,
Present.
John Bajezi, Byron Shabazz, Dave Dorsett,
Present.
Ashley Katz,
Here.
Don Nguyen,
Here.
Dennis Moon,
Here.
5 present.
We have a quorum, thank you. Anyone wishing to speak to the or address the City Council on matters germane to the agenda of tonight's meeting will be limited to 3 minutes and are asked to be brief and concise in making their comments. Comments submitted by mail or email will not be read aloud, but a copy will be provided to each member of the council and made a part of the minutes of this meeting. Does anyone wish to speak to the council under the public comment section of the agenda? Alrighty, hearing none, we'll move on to, we're going to combine for the purposes of discussion items 1, 2, and 3. So the first item is consideration an ordinance to create a Class A liquor license for Lucky Z's LLC located at 1020 East Jackson Street, and consideration of an ordinance to create a Class A liquor license for Lucky Z's LLC doing business as Lucky Spins located at 1024 East Jackson Street, and consideration of an ordinance to create a Class A liquor license for Lucky Z's LLC DBA doing business as Bulldog Gaming, located at 1026 East Jackson Street here in Macomb. We have representatives from that represent the petitioner here this evening, and they also have a multimedia presentation. So I would ask whoever would like to come up and introduce the slideshow or go through those, so that would be great. And if you could state your name for the record, please.
Of course. My name is Anthony Becker. Hello. Good to see most of you all again. Some other from other new faces. Jennifer, I don't believe you were here last week.
She was not.
Welcome. Welcome. So we provided a little bit of a slide deck for you guys. So if we could go to the first slide for me. Excellent. Our mission is to provide customers with luxury gaming experience while operating our business in a responsible and ethical manner for our customers and our communities. So those are some, two of our logos, two of the brands that we have at Lucky Z's. One of the middle one, Bulldog Gaming, is a little bit, that's in draft mode at the moment. Excuse me. Next slide, please. As mentioned in the last meeting last week, we will provide 9 to 11 full-time employees and 18 to 20 part-time employees. Next slide, please. The picture on the left you're seeing is the current building, and the picture on the right is the proposed rendering, and that is estimated with our $500,000 investment. Next slide, please. And here's a 3D picture of the proposed rendering that our architect was able to provide for us. And this is our location in Pittsfield, Illinois. We partnered with Excel Entertainment, as you can see on the back of the chairs, with their symbol AE. Next slide, please. And we provided these pictures to give you more of a feel of our brand and our image and what we will be bringing to the community as our look and feel of our gaming parlors. As I mentioned, I know words can only mean so much. Pictures kind of say 1,000 words, right? When I say luxury gaming lounge, this is more or less what we're referring to. This is our very first location at this was Lucky Z's at our Z-Wash location inside of a laundromat inside Quincy, very first location. Next slide, please. And this is Lucky Spins. This is our most recent addition. This is also in Quincy, Illinois, on Harrison Street. We actually decided to gut a home. We purchased a home, decided to renovate the entire inside and change it into a gaming parlor, and that is what you're seeing there. We also have some amusements on picture 1 in Pittsfield and in Lucky Spins, where we have dartboards, Big Buck Hunter, Pac-Man, Golden Tee, other entertainment games, as those are as well. Next slide, please. So we wanted to bring this breakdown to everybody's attention as well, in case we're not all familiar with how gaming revenue operates. So 32% goes to the location, which would be myself. Another 32% goes to the terminal operators. That would be our partner. That would be Excel Entertainment. 29% goes to the state. 5% go to the municipality, or in this instance, it would go to Macomb. And then there's a very small percentage that goes to Scientific Games, who was recently bought out by another company called Lights and Wonder, who receives a very small percentage, and they operate the formulas on the back end of the machines. to make sure everything's working appropriately without any type of fraud. Anybody have any questions about this slide specifically? So the NTI is a net terminal income. So every dollar that goes in is split amongst this pie. Not necessarily goes in, but every dollar that would be considered profit is split amongst this pie. And I can field questions at the end, but I didn't know if anybody had any specific questions about this slide. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, we do partner with Excel Entertainment, and based off of our last meeting on Monday, I thought it was important to bring about this slide to show that since the year 2020, Excel has given over $380,000 in charitable donations. I think that is a very, very honorable thing to an honorable situation for not only their company, but for our partner as well. So this is just another example of what we will be bringing to the community with them as our partner. Next slide, please. I thank you for your consideration for these 3 gaming parlors. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for the gentleman at all? Alderman Nguyen.
You made mention that you're going to have some Pac-Man type games.
Yes.
Who is that for? Your age limit
Age-wise?
for your casino or for your gaming is
Yes.
what?
21 and older to enter the doors, correct. It just provides another form of entertainment. So why we did that in 2 of our locations. One, we would have done it in all 3 if we had the space. But we have those in 2 locations because oftentimes we'll see individuals or couples come to play together. One is not really interested in playing the games while their spouse might be. So the spouse plays while, so it gives them another area to, another form of entertainment, if you will, as opposed to just sitting at the bar waiting for their spouse to be completed.
Anything else? Anyone else? No? Alderman Dorsey.
This is actually for city staff. So Mr. Bannon is out right now. I'll have to ask Mr. Coker. The parking situation, looks like there's a fair amount of the building that's going to be going on there, and I approve of that. I think it's a big plus for that building. I lived in that area for a long time, and it's a mess. But the parking for 3 separate businesses plus whatever else you put in there, have we got that in that space?
So I will, I will help out a little bit. The estimate right now is there's about 40 spaces on the premises. Early on in the discussions with the applicants, we indicated to them that there would be a maximum number of spaces depending on the occupants of each of the 5 bays. So they're understanding that if these 3 take up 90% of those spaces, it severely limits what they can put in the other 2 bays. Now, that being said, they are fully within their rights to ask for a variance of the parking requirements. That would go through the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Alderman Shute.
Yeah, for the, and going along with that, for the other 2 spaces, you'd mentioned last week about really looking for things that maybe wouldn't be as high traffic. Can you talk just a little bit more about what maybe some of those, I know you won't know, but
Sure.
what are you kind of thinking you'd be kind of targeting for those?
Sure. So we were thinking, salon type situations, anything that would be, not significantly high traffic. So we don't plan on having restaurants. We don't plan on having a grocery store in any of those locations. So that'd probably be the best example. But it's kind of difficult to predict at the moment. Sure. But we're at the same time they are open spaces, and we do plan on advertising and marketing them appropriately to get somebody in those spots and happy tenants in those spots as well.
Perfect, thank you.
Anyone else? Anything else from you, sir?
I appreciate your time and consideration.
Thank you very much. We'll place all 3 of those on for consideration and final action next Monday night. Item number 4, consideration of an ordinance to create a special event liquor license for the Prairie Hills Resource Conservation and Developments, extending the Prairie Table event. This ordinance had first reading last Monday, and we do have a representative from Prairie Hills today. Would you mind coming up and sharing with us what the event is and tell us, have an opportunity to maybe promote it a little bit and see if we can help enhance the event?
My name is Fletcher. I am the current program coordinator at Prairie Hills and Prairie Land Conservancy, which is kind of the under the umbrella, as Dave King puts it. This event has kind of been on hiatus since COVID, but it is our 7th annual event. We haven't done it since 2019. This year, all of the proceeds from this event, so it is a charitable fundraising event to open a parking lot at our Wigwam Hollow Bird Sanctuary location it's kind of right by the President's parking lot up on that hill. And this would allow for a really great new public access space for recreation uses, scientific education, things of that nature. So this event will last from 5 to 8 on September 30th. It is a Saturday. We have enough parking spots. We filled out all the correct application processes on this. So yeah, is there any other specific questions that you guys might have about this event that I can answer?
Any questions for Fletcher? Where's the event going to be held? In that
It's at
location?
At the Field House
Okay.
in Macomb, which is behind the Jackson Street Market. So kind of at the end of that road there by the railroad tracks.
Okay. Any questions at all? Alrighty, thank you, Fletcher. Appreciate your sharing information with us. We'll have that item on for consideration at next Monday's council meeting as well. Thank you. We are going to go into executive session. Before we go, we'd like to share some information with you while we have the media here. There will be nothing coming out of the executive session, excuse me, this evening. You may have seen some folks in the northwest part of the city wearing yellow City of Macomb t-shirts, working in pairs. They are students from Western University's GIS program. They're contracted to assist us in doing a water service line survey throughout the city. That's a great opportunity for us to partner with the university and get those students some experience. They are going door to door. They're going to ask to come in and inspect your lead service pipes into your community, or excuse me, into your house. And at the end of the day, they will go through the entire community. We just want to assure folks that they are legitimate. We've received some phone calls, and maybe you as aldermen have received those as well. But we want to underscore that they're doing legitimate work for the city and helping us identify areas where we will need to concentrate on replacing lead service lines as we move forward to meet federal standards that are coming down the pike. So wanted to make sure we got that out. And Scott, do you have an update maybe on the entrance to City Hall, what it's been?
Sure. I was going to add one more thing. So
Please.
the students should have a letter from the city with them. They should also have identification and be wearing a yellow, as the mayor mentioned, City Macomb t-shirt. So if you have any questions, please call City Hall or Public Works. For the entrance to the City Hall, they should be finished this week with that as the expectation. So we replaced the storefront here at City Hall. Was in bad need of replacement. So.
Excellent. All right, thank you. Would like to call an executive session to consider information relative to the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of an employee of the public body or legal counsel for the public body pursuant to Section 2C1 of the Open Meetings Act.
So moved.
Second.
So moved and seconded to go into executive session. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Shu?
Aye.
Dorset?
Aye.
Katz? Aye. Wynn?
Aye.
Moon?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. And again, for the media, we'll take just a few minutes. If you have any questions for us before we go into executive session.